multiplying integers. Multiplying positives and negative numbers. Like I said, Kelton's over there being scared already. I think it's easier than what we've been doing, than the adding and subtracting, honestly. But one very important thing to remember right off the bat, we're going to write down, is that multiplying integers has totally different rules than the adding and subtracting. So don't start pulling those rules in, okay? So go ahead and write down that multiplying has totally different rules. Not even underline that they're totally different. Because a lot of people are going to have a habit of trying to pull back in what we just learned for adding and subtracting. But you got to clear your mind for multiplying. Another thing that we always have to remember when we're multiplying is this when they're slammed. What does that mean when they're slammed? You want me to show it? Is it distracting you? What's it mean, Tucker? When you have something slammed, such as right here.
It means you multiply.
It means you multiply, right? That's all it means. Don't get confused. Well, we've been over that a ton, haven't we? So, like, if I have 6 parentheses 7, they're slammed against each other. What is all that saying?
6 times 7.
6 times 7, so the answer is just 42, right? And like I said, you'll see some that they could write it like this, where both are in parentheses. And that's still just 6 times 7. Exactly, Ron. They're just trying to mess you up. It's easy, right? I'm telling you, today's going to be easy. You're gonna be really happy this is what we're doing today. All right, here's where the rules. These are the only 3 rules you've got to remember, other than just how to multiply, which we've already, what grade you learn to multiply in? Third. Exactly. So here's the only 3 rules. And the first rule, watch. You already knew this one. You didn't realize it, but a positive times a positive equals what? A positive, right? You never thought of that because you didn't have to deal with negatives, but if I do positive 2 times positive 3, I get positive 6, right? So positive times a positive and an equal a positive. So that's really nothing new. It's just now we have it written down, we realize that's what we were doing the whole time. Right, Cole? Now, here's the new parts. If you have a positive times a negative, you're going to get a negative, okay? So a positive times a negative, your answer is going to be a negative number. Now, it also flip-flops. A negative times a positive is also a negative. It's just, if there's one negative and one positive, it's going to be negative, okay?
Just like either way equals Wait, never mind.
Yeah, I think you're getting one step ahead of us, aren't you? Yeah.
No, I thought you said something else, so I just confused myself.
So look, and actually let's look at the last one, then you'll notice something. So now, what about having negative times a negative? Because that's the only thing left, right?
Cancel each other out and equal positive.
Who said that? How'd you know that?
They taught me over there.
They did? Alright, you did learn something over there. Way to go. So like Matt just said, a negative times a negative is going to equal a positive number. Oh, I know you think your mind's blown now, right, Riley? Hold on, but look at something. What did you notice? When they're both the same sign, what do they always end up? They always end up positive, right? If they're both positive, they're positive. If they're both negative, they're positive. It's when you have one of each, it ends up negative, okay? Abby.
How come on the 2 negative there's a plus, but on the 2 positive there's a plus still?
That's one of those instances where you're overthinking. If you really, really want to know, you can come up once you're done with our worksheets up. You can talk to me, Coach Jordan, and
I'll meet you outside and we'll go into numbers.
yeah, get your mind blown. But that's one of those things where all it's going to do, honestly, is confuse you and especially everyone else that isn't worried about what it is. So that's one of those things. Just understand that's a rule. That's how it works. And just do it that way, and you'll get the right answer. And like I said, if you're really dying to know, ask Coach Jordan, and he can confuse you. And Tucker.
Could you think of it like even and odd numbers, like 2 even numbers is even, but even and odd is odd?
It's kind of what you're saying, but you're going to confuse people. But yes, that is just between me and you asking that. Yes, you're thinking along the same lines, but I don't want to get into it with everyone else. So that's it. That's all you have to know. That's all the notes on this, besides the examples. And now I'll do examples, and it should get really, really easy. First period thought it was really easy. But if you get going too fast, just like anything, we make dumb mistakes, right? And that's the only thing I saw people doing. That's all you follow right there. So if I have this very first one, 8 times 12.
Just a positive.
Right, but for now, when we do these, here's the order you're going to do it. You're going to do the multiplying first. You're going to ignore the signs. Then you're going to go back and put the sign on the answer, okay? So first do 8 times 12.
96.
Anybody else put pencil to paper or in their head? 96. Good. Now, what kind of number?
Positive.
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 Positive. So my answer is going to be
Positive 96.
positive 96. So I don't have to put a positive if I don't want to. Easy, right? 4 times negative 6. What's 4 times 6, Ron?
What?
4 times 6?
24.
24. Now, Ethan, what's my first number?
Negative 6.
A negative. Second one?
Positive.
So what's my answer going to end up?
Negative.
A negative, right? Did y'all see that? We had negative, positive, so one of each. So it's going to end up what? A negative, right, Yvonne? Because right here, what I just said, negative, positive is a negative every time. You see how all it is regular multiplication, just with those rules, is it?
We're always going to do a negative and a negative, or you do the bigger numbers?
Oh, no. You're bringing in the addition rules, aren't you? And what was the first thing we wrote down? Totally different rules. You got to clear your mind of those rules. If it's not an addition or subtraction, you can't think those rules. You got to think these.
So just do every time there's a negative, you put the negative in the answer?
Oh, no, because this is just one negative, right? And one positive, which when we wrote over here, one negative, one positive equals a negative. But you'll see here in a second when we have 2 negatives, so you can't do just every time there's a negative. All right, 8 times negative 7. What's 8 times 7, Mary?
49.
Mary, that was an amazing trick you just did.
56.
56, right? Now, McGee, since you were so jumpy to answer, what type of number is 8?
Positive,
Positive
negative,
with a negative, so my answer is going to be
a negative.
a negative. Matt.
So all I do is just normal multiplication and whatever the rule is, just put that.
Exactly. The first thing you'll do is just multiply like you always did, and then you just look to your rules. That's all there is to this. How easy is this? It's easy, isn't it? Now, let's see a different one. Negative 3 times negative 5. What? 15 is my answer, right? Now, they're both negative, so shouldn't the answer be negative? Just like when we do adding? Oh, they're just totally different, right? So I got to look at my rules.
The negative cancel each other.
Okay, so I have 2 different negatives, right, Dakota?
Yeah.
And what's my rules say when I have negative and negative?
Negative and negative equals positive because the 2 negatives cancel each other out.
So it's just positive 15, right? And if I want, I could put positive 15, or I can just leave 15, right? Mark, you're starting to quit on me. 2 times negative 8. Ross?
2 times 8 is 16.
16.
And it's positive times negative, so it's a negative.
So it's a negative, right? How do you know that was multiplication?
Just slam together.
Huh?
Slam
They're
together.
slammed together. And anytime it's slammed together, it's multiplication, right? Alright, Cody. Negative 9 times negative 11.
99.
99 is what you get, right? Now, I don't know if it's positive or negative.
They're both negative, so they cancel each other out.
Both negative, and it stays positive, right?
Yes.
Now, we're going to see problems, though, that aren't just the multiplying. This is where it gets confusing for people, Kylie, because like you were asking about, this is where you have to start doing order of operations, and maybe the adding, and maybe the multiplying. So this is where you have to go step by step. What's the first thing you notice here, EA?
That it's plus, or it's addition.
What do you got, Abby?
There's 3 numbers.
There's 3 numbers, yeah, but what's going on in the problem, Christian?
Parentheses.
Parentheses, right? So what are we going to have to do?
Do the parentheses
Do
first.
the parentheses order of operation.
What's that, Ron?
Order of operation.
And we remember it as PEMDAS, right? So PEMDAS, the P, parentheses. We have parentheses?
Yes.
So I got to do it first, right?
But there's 2 parentheses.
So right now, hold on. We'll get to that. So right now, we're ignoring the 5, right? We're just doing the parentheses. Now, what Christian said, there's 2 parentheses. This first parentheses right here, is there anything going on in it? Any math? It's just the number, right? All that's doing, like we talked about the other day, is it's just, because you never just see a plus sign and a negative sign up against each other, do you? So all that's doing is separating those. That's all in this problem that parentheses is doing. So, now, what's the equation? What am I doing in here?
3 minus negative 2.
3 plus
3 plus negative 2, right? So what note should I be looking back at if I don't remember it?
Addition.
The addition, right? And here's where all that comes into play, Kylie. Who's
This is totally different.
Hold on. Because we're doing PEMDAS, you might have to do different things, right? You've had problems in the past where you have to add, subtract, multiply all at the same time. So first, we're just looking in the parentheses. So we're just going to do this. So 3 plus negative 2. How do I do it? Who knows?
Subtract and put the
Parker.
since they're different,
What's different?
the signs.
The signs, right? Because this is positive 3, negative 2. Okay, signs are different.
So the bigger one you subtract, and 3 minus 2 is 1.
3 minus, he's saying we subtract because the signs are different, and he got 1.
And since the positive's bigger, you leave the positive.
Okay, and 3 is a bigger digit, and it's positive, so the 1 stays positive, is what he's saying. So now, that's all that's left in the parentheses, right? You just solved it.
Slammed up against
Yeah,
that?
look, exactly. So now you have this turned into that when I solved it, but this negative 5 still slammed against it, isn't it?
Yes.
So what do I have left to do?
5 times 1.
It's just negative 5 times 1 now, isn't it? Which is,
Negative 5.
it's 5, right? And then, based off our rules,
Negative.
it's going to be,
Negative.
what's wrong, Riley?
We are just too fast.
All right, hold on. So, do you see how we got to the 1?
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but
Oh, okay. And then it's slammed, and this was a negative.
Yeah.
This is a positive.
This is way easier than yesterday.
She
It's
was
what?
saying way easier than yesterday.
What, Tuesday? The subtracting and whatnot?
Subtracting.
Yeah. I told you today would be. Y'all thought it wouldn't be.
It doesn't sound like it.
It doesn't, does it? But I think it's way easy. So now, Christian.
So if the 1 was a negative 1, that would equal positive 5 still?
You're right, exactly.
Oh.
Because then you'd have a negative times a negative, right? Alright, this next one. What's happening in it that you see? Hayden?
It's the same as the one with subtraction and parentheses.
So you got parentheses with subtraction this time. So what do we need to do first according to PEMDAS, Hayden?
Do the subtraction and the
Do the subtraction right. So right now I'm ignoring the 3. Kylie, how do I do negative 5 minus 4?
Move the negative over to the second number, so it's 4, and then leave space.
So the first thing, here's the camera, see, is right. We move this one straight down, right? Because we never change that one. Now, what did you say I do?
And then move the negative over to the 4.
Move the 4 down and the negative with it, right? So that creates this space. Oh, you want to put the parentheses? We can do that too. What always goes in the space, everyone? Plus, right? Every time. So now, we've changed that subtraction to an addition problem, right? Just like we did the other day with our subtraction. And now what do? Signs are same or different?
Same.
Well, how come only these 3 people know?
Same.
They're same, right?
So you add them.
So if they're both negative same, what does it say in our notes when the signs are the same? What do? You add them, right? What's 5 plus 4? 9. And what else is part of that after you add them? Why? What's it say in your notes?
Keep the sign.
Keep the sign. And the sign was negative, so negative 9. That's my answer?
No.
What's left?
You bring down the negative 3. Multiply.
Slammed against
Oh,
that.
so this is just the parentheses, huh? And this negative 3 is still out here. Now what?
Now you multiply it.
Oh, okay, because they're slammed. So what do I get?
27.
I get 27.
It's no negative.
Wait, no.
Oh.
Negative, so it's a
I've
positive.
got one person saying negative, one saying positive. What's my rule say? What are the numbers in the problem? What is it? It's a negative times a negative, which gives me a positive. So my answer just stays
The same.
positive, right? 27. Ron, read the word problem for us.
A cold front came through and dropped the temperature 4 degrees Fahrenheit for 5 hours. If the temperature was 11 degrees Fahrenheit before the cold front, what is the temperature now?
What word in there tells you whether, what's that, Ron?
Drop.
What does drop tell you?
Negative.
Negative, right? The temperature is going down, right? It's getting colder. Okay. Now, it tells you it dropped 4 degrees for 5 hours. So that means what?
4 degrees every hour.
4 degrees every hour, right? So what do we probably have to find first?
When the temperature was 4.
What, Tucker?
How many degrees it dropped total?
Total, right? How would I do that, though?
Multiply 4 by 5.
So Tucker says we have to find how much it drops total, because it's 4 degrees, like EA told us, is just every hour, but there's 5 hours. So we could do 4 times 5, right, for the total?
20.
It's 20, right? Now, it tells us it was 11 before all this dropping happened, right? But it wants to know what it is now. How would I find that? Ethan?
Subtract the 11 before from the 20.
The 11 before from the 20 or 20 from it?
The 20 from it.
Because we're starting at the 11, right? And then we're going to subtract the
We'll have a negative number.
20 to find the temperature now. So now, what type of problem do we have? Just a subtracting integers, right? So we're looking at that. So now, we're going to kind of do what we did over there. So what? The 11 just comes down, right?
And then move the negative sign over to the next number.
Negative sign goes with the 20. It creates a space.
Out of the addition symbol.
Space is a plus sign. Now I have 11 plus negative 20, Raina. How do I do that? Signs, look at the signs. What are they?
They're different.
So what do? Don't whisper the answer to her.
So if the signs are different, you're supposed to subtract.
Alright, subtract. 20 minus 11 is what?
Negative 9.
Oh, what's 20 minus 11 though?
9.
Started. Let's not get ahead of us. Do step by step. You're going fast in our head like that.
And then the negative 20 is bigger.
Oh, the 20 is bigger,
So it's a
so we need to keep
negative
its
9.
sign, and the 20 was negative. So now it's negative 9 degrees Fahrenheit. It's really, really cold. Now, one last example back here, because this throws people off and it shouldn't change anything. Now all I'm doing is multiplying 3 integers. Is this going to mess anything up for us?
No, sure.
Does it change anything when they're all positive on you? Just do the first two, get that answer, and then do the third. So, because the order of operations says what? What type is all that? What type of math is all that? Multiplication, right? So what order do I go in? Left or right, just like I read. Okay? So the first thing I want to do is just the first two. What do I have to do? Negative 3 times 7
21.
is what? 21. And then it was a negative times a positive. So what is the
Negative.
The answer's going to be negative. So now these two are gone now, right here. And all I have left is this negative 21. And now I bring down the negative 2. So now,
42.
how'd you get that, Bryce? They're slammed together. So you multiplied 21 times 2 gave you 40.
And they're both
Two?
negative. They're positive.
Oh, and they're both negatives. And in multiplying, they're a positive. So I'll even put a pause on this one. So did having multiple numbers change anything?
No.
Just do it 2 numbers at a time, left to right, when it's like that, okay? And it doesn't change anything. Is this easy?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Negative times positive, what do I get?